Good evening, team. A word of warning tonight in the markets. Good evening, team. Fantastic. We are live. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Lots to talk about. What I thought I'd come on tonight, and talk about was a word of warning to you. A word of warning in the markets, the stock market, the Bitcoin market, the commodities, gold, silver. Yeah, crazy times. Crazy times. We're not going to focus on the war. We're not going to focus and talk about that. One, it's slightly disrespectful because there's a lot of people that are suffering at the moment. It's not ideal. Nobody's first choice. This isn't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it strictly business. I'm going to be talking about the market. I'm going to share my screen, show you guys my thoughts on what's happening with Bitcoin, the stock market, and also gold and silver, and maybe a little bit of oil as well, due to what's going on around the world. Reason being, everybody thought that the stock market would open bearish today. Everybody thought that Bitcoin would dump, and everybody thought gold would pump, and so would oil. But that is not what happened today. That's why you need to keep your mind um, Get your mind on the charts. I'm not a fundamental man. I'm a technical man. I like technical analysis. I'm not pulled into the fundamentals, nor am I pulled into anybody trying to say different things on Twitter, the Western news reporting on different things. And I'm not a fan of it because, to be honest, it lets you down time and time again. And today is exactly that what we've seen. We've seen people letting us down in the news, people's opinions, the fundamental outlook. I'm not to say that gold or oil won't pump, not to say that silver won't pump, not to say that commodities won't pump, but when you put all your eggs in one basket, when you went long when the gold markets were shut last night, expecting an explosion today, last night late when it opened up, you got a little bit of volatility in it, and there's money to be made in that, but you have to be very, very skilled, and it can leave you with your pants down in the middle of a field on a cold night getting spanked, and we do not want that. So if you would have gone short on Bitcoin and long on gold, and short on the stock market, then you would have lost a lot of money today. So you got to keep your wits about you. You have got to definitely keep your wits about you. So let's get to the charts. Let me show you my thoughts on what's going on. Let's look at what we've done today. So as you can see, I am currently short on Bitcoin. I'm caught a little bit of this today. I probably got in once we'd flipped the point of control here on this range that we're trading in at the moment. But I'm currently in the process of training my wife up at the moment. She's took a vast interest in trading, which is absolutely brilliant. So we were going through it today. We longed some of this, but again, when you start reaching points of control here where the liquidity is, and once you start reaching these points here, of course, you can turn back around. So what I'm expecting and what I was expecting is this high to be taken. This was that confident. It was a limit order that long. That high there to be taken, along with the confluence of this value area high here, and I had a limit short whilst walking the dog today on that point there at 69,950. I also wanted to hit the psychological level of 70k, because I always knew anything that's psychological, because we're all humans, that's pretty much what it always hits. And what did we get on the Bybit futures chart? We got 70.66, so not a bad little move there. I've already took TP1 here. My stop loss is above this high, and I'm leaving this to reclaim these vector candles here on pretty much all time frames, if I'm honest. And I'm probably going to take profit, not financial advice, around this anchored VWAP, because from this pivotal low here, the anchored VWAPs provided support, and that's what we've kind of worked our way up on there. So do I think we'll get a full recovery of the vector candles? Maybe not. We'll have to look at what the Fibonacci's are saying. If we bring it to there, the bottom of the vector candles will be the 618 there. So it's a nice retracement. And it's the way that we trade, trading the range until it breaks. So we've hit range high, coming down to there. If we do continue to bounce off some kind of support, maybe this line here, because that's previous resistance, then of course my stop loss will stop me out, and I'm still in profit for the day. So that's what I've been up to today. Been a very, very volatile day. The stock market, indeed. What made me go long on Bitcoin and what made me go short here is I was monitoring like a hog the stock market open today. ES1. ES1 was a little bit sluggish, if I'm honest. ES1 was a little bit sluggish, but what I had my eyes on was the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was very, very bullish. Straight out the gate at 2:30, which was UK. Well, it's 2:30 in the UK, and obviously New York's open at that. We were very, very bullish. Straight out the mark, boom. So everybody was expecting downside, and what we got straight away, order flow was showing me that we got massive moves to the upside. So let's have a look up, see what the alpha was telling us at that particular moment in time. We can see that the alpha was showing us that money flow on this indicator here on the NASDAQ futures, which is the NQ1, money flow was flowing in this. We got an increase in the VWAP, we got an increase in money flow, and we got a momentum wave. Green dot there. You can see the green dot there, the momentum wave coming up. So that gives us a good idea of what was actually going on in the investors that were investing into the stock market. Now, as we know, and I've gone over this 1,000 times before, Bitcoin follows the stock market. So we got tech stocks here with the NASDAQ futures. This was encouraging, so this is why I was dibble dabbling in the longs on Bitcoin. But as Nasdaq started to get to resistance, which was here, this liquidity area here, this was a previous supply area here that I was interested in on the Nasdaq. Why? We can see resistance, 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 gap in the market, fall down. So when we approach this again, we either flip it to demand or it remains a supply area. So I was keeping my eyes deeply on this, because whatever the stock market does in the US, Bitcoin will follow. If the stock market sneezes, Bitcoin catches a cold. So that's exactly what it did. We hit this resistance here, but at the same time, in confluence, same thing can kind of be said with the ES as well. But like I say, with the ES, we only took this bit here, this bit of liquidity here. It was lagging behind the ES was. I'm not going to lie to you. But as we come up to resistance on the Nasdaq, we're also coming up to major resistance. Not, I wouldn't say major resistance, but I'd say range highs and liquidity. We're coming to the highs on Bitcoin here, which we can see this bit of liquidity here, and we can also see this value area high here. So this was an area that I was definitely interested and definitely wanting to take a trade. That's why I went in with a limit order on this, knowing that we should get some kind of a reaction, and that's exactly what we did. And so far, won't say we've broke the bank with it, but it's a 2.2% move on this, and we're starting to get some a move down on this. So on the 30-minute on the alpha, we can see that a red dot has printed, which is always interesting to see. We can see the red dots printed. We can see the VWAP. After these vector candles, we can see a sharp move with the VWAP. The vector candles are there, so the volume's backing it up. But what we can see a sharp decline in the VWAP just there, and also the money flow starting to arc over nicely, which backs up the idea of the short trade. So my technical levels are looking at this just here, seeing this is key resistance for me locally. And then what happens? The momentum wave falls over here. I've got a red dot here. And the amazing thing as well is I've got a bearish divergence as well, which is what I was looking for. And that is playing out nicely. What do I mean by that? Well, we've got a high here. We've actually got a high here. And we've got a higher high on price. But as we can see, the momentum wave is not backing up the move. So I had my eye keen on this on the 30-minute chart, which is the medium-term time frame in terms of the lower-term time frame, if you know what I mean. It's given me a bit of everything. It's moving into the hour and the 4-hour, etc. But it's also keeping tabs on the 5-minute. So I like the 30-minute because it keeps me. The 15 and 30-minute are very, very good for when I'm day trading. I like that. So we can see a nice bearish divergence just here, where the momentum wave and the money flow was not backing up the price movement, which made it hollow. If volume doesn't back up the price movement, then of course we're looking for divergence. And while ever there's convergence, that's exactly why we're going to stay in a trade. Convergence is what we want to see for when we're staying in trade. Divergence is what we want to see when we're looking for triggers to get in said trades. So we could see that happening. Nice short. I'll keep you updated on that. I'm going to be taking profits down here. I've let my team know in the community what we're actually up to in there. Gold today was a very, very volatile day. I did trade a little bit of gold. One thing I was keeping my eye on the 30-minute chart here, we had just a small range up and down like this, trading sideways. As soon as we lost that with velocity, got the alpha up. The alpha works on any time frame, and it also works on any asset: gold, silver, stocks, flipping crypto, everything, oil, everything. It's just an absolutely brilliant tool. So what I was seeing here on the lower term time frame was a bit of a breakdown. You could start to see a bit. Let's have a look. Started to see it break down just there in terms of money flow coming out of this asset, which lines up perfectly with the red vector candles moving down to the downside. But I took a little bit of a short, but I did cash out around this liquidity area here. But my main prerogative for me, my main plan, if I get rid of the alpha, was looking at this 618. Two things that I wanted to happen. Two things I had my eye on for confluence on gold. Something that you to be aware of. Gap. Yep. Had a gap there on the gold. That was what I was looking at. We had a gap up when it opened up last night. And we also had confluence with the 618 here, which pretty much came down to the golden channel, no pun intended, on gold, and got a nice big reversal. My wife was with me at the time. We was in the command center, also known as the Trading Masters headquarters, and we were monitoring this and trading this on our MT4 accounts. So that was interesting. So yes, a nice reaction here for gold. Very volatile out the mark. Nobody really knew where they stood. Everybody was expecting a move up, which we did get to a degree, but then we started to break down. Bit of a Bart Simpson pattern, as it were. Nice move up, spiky here, back down again to fill this gap, but also to bounce off key support here. Silver, what have we had on silver? If I get on the silver chart here, same kind of thing. Bit of a sell-off. Came down for this liquidity here. Did it just front run it? Let's have a look. Yeah, slightly front run it. So it's kind of unfinished business to me, but we've had a bit of a move down. I think it's because the rich, the wealthy are not going to make it easy for retail traders. So if the sentiment of the market is up, 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 and when we open the stock market, guess what's going to happen? They ain't going to make it easy for us. They're going to wash out all of the retail here. This is a manipulated move from the market makers. We like that. We're not bothered about that. That's a nice manipulated move just here. To come down, sweep this little bit of liquidity, not that they need it, to bring it down to key levels, wipe everybody out, and then obviously everybody being liquidated and stopped out is obviously a driving force to reverse the price. I do apologize. I've not even been taking note of the comments. Hey Dave, good to see you. One of my regulars on these evening updates. Good to see you, my friend Keith. Benny boy, how we doing? Good evening. What a Monday. It's been absolutely crazy. Stephen Roberts, good to see you, buddy. Speak for yourself. I forgot what I said, mate. What does the gap mean? Basically, the gap, CME gap, it means when the stock market is shut, but the price keeps carrying on. It creates a gap in the market. Creates a gap where lots of buyers are flooding into the market at a particular time when the market is actually shut. Lots of buy orders, sell orders, etc. Everybody was expecting gold to be everybody was expecting gold. Where is it? Yeah, opened up just there. So it opened up here. Everybody was expecting gold to rise. So this is where, what chart is this? This is the Vantage chart. When the market shut, everybody had orders to buy. So it creates a massive, massive gap between when it closed and when it opened. Not quite looking on that there though, because it pretty much, it shut on Friday. It's not quite the same as you got a bit of movement there. It's not quite the same as the CME. CME on the Bitcoin chart shuts on the Friday and opens up on the Monday. You've got a bit of a gap here. Basically, it's insinuating on this gold here, many, many buy orders opening up at the same time, ready for when gold actually opens up on the stock market. Boom. That's the gap that you got. But it's been filled. It doesn't always fill, but it's been filled there. So slightly different to the Bitcoin CME gap, but it's basically a lot of demand showing up. But it never lasts because people were expecting this move up, move up, move up, move up, but it's not. It's got to balance itself, close that gap, vector candle recovery, which it did here. And obviously we've come back, find support, created a higher low. I'm still bullish, medium-term time frame to long-term. I'm still bullish on gold. But to be fair, I'm not really bothered what asset that we trade, as long as it's moving. As long as the asset is moving, I'm not bothered. The problem is with gold, a lot of the time, you've got to have it in order to scalp gold, in order to make money out of gold on a regular basis. You've got to be on the lower term time frame, the 5-minute time frame, because you don't very often get a lot of big moves like this. This is just because we're at war at the moment with Iran. We're not at war, but there is war. America have obviously gone to war with Iran, and Iran are just spitting the dummy out and whatever. I'm not going to get political on that, but they're causing a lot of havoc. So that's why we're getting people are looking for a safe place to place their money. So if we trace the money back, we can see that the US dollar, let's have a look what DIX is doing. So the DIX is actually not too bad, if I'm honest. Let's have a look on the 3-day chart here. Let's have a look on the daily, to be fair. Dollar's not looking too bad, but if we look at this in terms of crypto, USDT is not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, we've had a bit of an outflow. This outflow on the USDT dominance, yeah, we've just created lower highs since we've hit that monthly. Money's flowing out of USDT, only temporary, only temporary. The fact that we've got a little bit of a range here, let's have a look. Let's take this range here. Let's get on the 4-hour. Yeah, okay, that's good. So we've hit support. This is nice for my short that I'm in on Bitcoin. So at the moment, we've found support on the value area low. I'd like to see a move up. Got it. I'd like to see a move up to the value area high on the USDT dominance. Sorry, I got error messages coming up saying I've run out of storage. I'd like to see a move up to here. When we get to here, that's when I'll take profit on my Bitcoin trade. And then potentially look for longs when we hit resistance on the USDT dominance. So word of warning, just be careful out there. Just be careful out there, because things aren't what they seem. You've got oil that hasn't pumped as much as you'd think. We've got a bit of a bullish open, I suppose. We've got a bit of a gap on oil as well. Again, look, people anticipating that oil is going to rise, and it did rise. But obviously, we're not rising as much as we thought. We've hit key resistance here on the anchored VWAP. Stock market's opened up bullish, although everybody thought it was going to be bearish. You've got Michael Saylor here. I thought that was a bit more bullish than I thought. Michael Saylor here on the NASDAQ MSTR. That's not opened up that bearish, really. That's looking okay. NASDAQ still working its way up. So for me, yeah, we're just going to have to see. Anybody that says they know doesn't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep this video too long, to be fair. I'll keep it nice and short. Where are we? 18 minutes. That's fine. So be careful out there. Don't just trade for the sake of it. Don't get sucked into X. Don't get sucked into people's opinions. Keep everything technical. Look for your key support and resistance lines and your key support and resistance areas and your supply and your demand zones. Make sure that everything's concise. But amazing, exciting news in the community tomorrow, because of all this, this volatility is kicking off. Tomorrow, I'm launching something really special within the Trading Masters community. I'm going to be doing a trading challenge in the month of March, where I'm going to aim to send out at least three to five trading signals, personal trades that I'm actually trading on a daily basis. I'm going to aim to do that whenever there is movement in the market. I'm going to try and do it 5 days a week. If I can't do it every single day, I'm going to try my best to bang these out. I'm going to show exactly where I'm buying, exactly where I'm selling, exactly where I'm placing my stop loss. None of this is financial advice, but it's going to be teaching the mentees what's going through my brain. Why do I choose to buy in a certain area? I'm going to give every minute buy-in. If I'm DCAing, I'm going to put all of my DCAs in, because it's one thing to just show off and chart the charts and put these trade setups and ideas out to the mentees. But what I want to do, I really want to get to grips. There's going to be many, many different challenges on this where we take profit at certain points, but this is going to be discipline training. It's not just about the technical side. That's sometimes the easy bit. Anybody can set up a trade, or can they? But most people can in the community. What it's about is learning how to stay disciplined, learning how to take profit, learning how to move your stop loss up to take all risk off the table. These are things that a lot of people teach on. A lot of people talk about mindset constantly, but I've got to be honest, it doesn't really mean much if you're just saying it. It just sounds good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to absolutely, well and truly drill this in to every single one of my students, and even my coaches, and even myself, to make sure that we are entering trades and that we are coming out when we should. because it's one thing to plot the trade. It's one thing to plan the trade, the famous plan the trade, trade the plan. How many people actually do that? Most traders lose. 90% of traders lose, not because they're not very technical, because a lot of people know how to draw the little support and resistance lines. It's the discipline. It's what's going on in here. But rather than talking about the Tony Robbins mindset stuff, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give massive, inspiring speeches on mindset because it's something close to my heart. But most of all, I'm going to demonstrate how to take profit at key levels, and when to buy at key levels, and what to actually do with your stop loss. But not just what to do with your stop loss, when and how and where to put your stop loss at different times of the trade. Because the thing is, people don't often teach about the management of the trade. It's easy to know where to buy, great, but do you pull the trigger at the right time, or do you set up your trade sizes at the right time in the right space? That's another question. To know where to move your stop loss, where to buy in, how to buy in, but most importantly, when to take profit. Because if you don't take profit and you don't pay yourself, what are we even doing it for? So it's going to be an amazing month of March for the Trading Masters community. If you do want to get involved, of course you do. If you do want to get involved, DM me, go into my bio, you'll see the WAP shop. You can join these very trading signal setups if you join the community. So it's the WAP shop. You'll see it. It's the link in any of my bios on X, on YouTube, on my Facebook, etc. Whatever you're watching on, click the link, join, get amongst this, get involved. And I shall see my community at 11 a.m. sharp tomorrow on the coaching call, where we're going to be launching this exciting time in the community where we're going to be trading together. And I'm going to share every move to the absolute dollar of where I'm going to be taking profit, what I'm going to be doing. And I am going to drill this into the guys of how to stay disciplined when you are managing your trades. We get down to business and we enjoy what we do. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of an update. Take this as a word of warning in terms of everything that's going on, the volatility in the market. Trade safe, be safe, and I hope to see you inside the community. Speak to you soon.